Welcome to Unveiling Beauty, the video podcast that focuses on your beauty and self-care. I'm your host, Nick Stenson, and as a beauty expert, I love inspiring others to look and feel their very best, and I've brought some friends alongside me today to help me do that. So first of all, my co-host, Anna Manukian, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good to see you.
I'm so excited for our special guest today. You guys, we know that when there's two redheads in a room, you're going to have a good time. Joining us today, I'm so excited to welcome MAC Cosmetics Global Senior Artist, Michelle Clark. Michelle, thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Hi, Nick. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
An honor.
So, makeup, one of my favorite categories in beauty. Talk about trends. We're seeing so much happening right now. Makeup, it is exploding. It's really having a moment. Tell me what you're seeing for 2023.
It truly is. I think it is the time to be into makeup. There are so many options out there for you as far as products goes, as far as trends goes. I feel like for me, as someone who wears makeup and someone who does makeup, it is endless the choices that you can choose from to create looks. It's just exciting. So as far as trends go for 2023, I have to say one of the biggest trends is going to be skin artistry. And what I mean by that is focusing on complexion and skincare as sort of your foundation, right? So it doesn't mean foundation disappears, but I have a great kind of trend to share with you. It's called glow stacking.
Oh.
I don't know if you've heard of this.
Glow stacking. Tell me
Glow
more.
stacking, get into it.
All
okay.
right, I like it.
So think of like a sandwich, right? So you've got your bread, your middle, and then your other slice of bread on top. That is exactly what glow stacking is. So glow stacking is using skincare first, of course, to prep properly. And then a layer of foundation is your is your middle, is your filling, sorry. And then your stack is your next layer of skincare on top. So it's like a little sandwich.
Skincare, foundation, skincare.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, tell me more about this. Skincare on the top. So after the foundation.
Yes.
What happens when you do that?
I know you're like, ooh, it's like a science experiment. Like, what is going to happen? No, truthfully, the first time I tried it, I was worried as well. But I think now where we're at with technology in not only foundation, but also skincare, things actually mix better together. There's a lot less pilling. There's a lot less slipping. There's a lot less balling up on the skin. So things play better. For example, at MAC, Studio Radiance Foundation is an incredibly, I would say, versatile foundation you can use in many different ways. So if you want it matte, you can make it matte. You can layer with it. It loves to work with skincare. And it's what I used on my model today. So you'll see later.
All right.
But really what happens is, I'd say my best advice with doing this glow stacking is making sure that you're really intentional about how much product you use. So when you're layering that last layer of skincare on top, pressing it in with fingers is a great idea. It's really just pressing it into the tops of the cheekbones. And that's what's going to give you that like perfect radiant glow when you turn your head that people ask about.
Now, there's a lot of different options within skincare. Is there anything from an ingredient standpoint, or would I use a serum? Would I use a moisturizing balm? Is there anything that I would use for my initial skin barrier? Do you have any thoughts on that? Because we want to know.
So we just came out with Serumizer and with a balm that is amazing. And balm as in like actual cream versus like a balm to remove the product with. And both incredibly moisturizing, hydrating. They give you this petal soft skin. I'd say depending on your skin texture, if you're drier, then a balm would be fine. But on somebody more oily, that might break down your makeup. Okay. So that's a great question.
Okay.
All right, so talk more about technique because everybody's now interested.
I'm really invested now.
I can't wait to just try this to see what happens when you emulsify these together. But talk about techniques. I know you worked with one of the models here.
I did.
Did you use some of these techniques on her?
Yes, I did. I did this glow stacking. It's like that was one thing I wanted to mention about trends is I feel like a lot of the trends play well with each other. So if you're doing glow stacking on your skin and you've got this perfect complexion, you can then layer in this burnt blush, which is something that I think we're going to be seeing a lot of during summer because people aren't shying away from blush. It is back thank you. I'm sick of doing makeup on people with just contour and no color on the face. So, and I think summer's the perfect time to introduce that. Kind of flushed, almost looks like you spent the day at the beach. It's more realistic. It's more natural. And at MAC, I guess I'm sneaking a little bit of information in now, but I'm here to tell you all about this new line of bronzers that we have, where it's an expanded line, completely inclusive, diverse shade range that's 15 colors.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible.
That's intense. That's great.
And it also encompasses different textures. So there's some mattes, there's some radiant versions, and there's some that have some glitter.
So how many bronzers does an average person need?
I mean, I'd say you could be okay with 2. My favorite answer is 3, and I know that seems like a lot, but truthfully, it's nice to have 2 tones that you can either bring out more of a warmer tone in your skin or a cooler, depending on if you've been in the sun or not. And I think that's really what we were sort of worried about that we didn't have in our previous lineup, was that sometimes not all of the tones worked on everyone, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have enough color range to really have the breadth of color and choice, depending on what time of year it was and what skin tone you were working on.
That makes sense.
Now we have
So
it.
speaking of skin tone, you worked on a beautiful model today. Show us what you did.
Yes, let me show you on my phone. Oh, press something. Okay. So this is Alyssa, and this is me using one of the shades from the new collection.
Okay.
And it's truly, what I'll say about this is what you see is what you get. It goes on smooth. They're really feather light in texture, but they add a lot of depth. So you can layer them really easily. They go on really well with soft brushes. I like something a little fluffier when I'm starting out so that I can create the color that I want, right?
Okay.
So I'm enhancing a color, especially if somebody's just walked off of the beach. You can actually use a color that's closer to the skin tone. And then if you're using, let's say 3, you'd go in with the next deeper, warmer, more reddish tone shade so that you're going to bring out that truly sun-kissed tone.
Now, I noticed you're going from sort of all around the edge of her forehead to her chin and then into her cheek. Is there any tips that you have? Because we've all seen and I've personally experienced where I'm like, oh, I'd never even blended my jawbone into my neck. And then there's a line of demarcation that we do not want.
I'll make sure to tell you when that happens.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Listen, I think you may have told me in the past, actually. Yes. Always have a friend who tells you.
Yes.
Always have a friend who tells you. Absolutely. But is there any tips or tricks around to how far would you take down the bronzer when you're working with your face versus your neck? Are you taking it down, or any tips around that?
Yeah,
Tips around that.
I would always take it so I kind of was working in that typical 3 shape. So forehead onto the cheek, and then down onto the jaw. And probably off camera, I did take it all the way down to the décolleté and the collarbone as well. It depends on what you're wearing and how much skin is showing, but I think that's super important. Don't forget about it. You can even do it on the ears. I know that sounds kind of wild, but it is skin. And if your hair is back, don't forget about the ears. They should be treated as well. But I think the key is finding the right color, right? So, and also if you want to deepen your skin, let's say you're like, I want to go for this bronze goddess look, you can always add a tiny bit of darker foundation into your usual foundation. That's going to give you an overall deepened skin tone, right? And take that down. Then you can go in with your bronzer and do it all over the face. And then you can kind of contour and add in this scorched sort of sun-kissed look with blush as a finishing touch. Should we look at Alyssa?
Yeah, let's
Bring
look
her
at her.
out.
Come on.
Yes.
Let's see.
Oh, she's definitely glowing. Beautiful.
So pretty. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so
Soft.
thank you. Oh, she has perfect skin, so it
She
was
really
easy
does.
to
Really gorgeous.
accommodate this look on her. And actually, Alyssa and I were talking backstage, and she was like, I feel like this is like an elevated look of like a natural, glowy, like what I would want it to look like. And
It looks like a transitional look too, right? It could be day, it could be night. It's not overdone. It's really not clouding up her skin. Her skin's showing through. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful. Talk to me about the eyes, because I feel like the eyes look really cool too. What did you do there?
oh, I'm so glad you asked. It's another thing that we've got coming out. We've got all new palettes coming out, the collection called Connect in Color, where we're redoing eye palettes, and they're phenomenal. I think it's important to have choice, right? When you're looking to get ready. If you're traveling, you can throw them in your bag. They're lightweight, which is important to me as a makeup artist. I'm like, you can't have heavy things, and as a consumer. But I went in with 3 shades, so I shouldn't actually have too many colors on. I think simplifying it is really important these days too. People don't want to spend a million hours on eye makeup, right? And you don't actually have to. So I swiped on an ochre tone all over the lid with a big fluffy brush, and then I went in with more of a concentrated amount of sort of golden glitter on the inner corner, and then just kind of softly blended it out through the center of the lid.
So you mentioned new palettes, and you know I love a palette. Do I need to get a palette, or do I need to get individuals? Like, as a professional global makeup artist, what's your take on individuals versus palettes?
It's a loaded question.
Totally loaded question.
I like everything. I'm a more is more human. So I'm like, hoarding is kind of, no, I'm trying to stay minimal in my life. I feel I like choice. So I'm a palette person now. I used to be an individual girl. I felt like then I could customize my own looks that way, you know? So I would pick up a couple of singles. I think if you're a person who is going to just put on one color and go, then a single is going to be the best for you. So have that in your beauty bag. I always like to have a black eyeshadow as a single because I can make it a liner. I can do a smoky eye in minutes. So that's a must. Other than that, you could have your neutral palette, like the one that this is our nudes palette, but it still has these fun flashes of gold, I think.
Metallic in there.
If you're going out, you could literally do that with your finger and just put it on. And I think that's what I love about the trend and where makeup is going now is, and maybe it's euphoria, who knows, but it's sort of there this Y2K insurgence of like do it yourself, DIY,
Right.
Less rules, right? Make it fun and embody your, I don't know, most authentic you.
Love that.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it very much. That's a good place, I think, for us to pause. Amazing. You look amazing. Thank you both
Thank
for
you.
being on the show today.
Thank you. Such a pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you all for joining Unveiling Beauty today. Be sure to check out Ulta Beauty stores or go online to purchase all of your MAC products that we discussed today, or leave a comment here to learn more about all of the great different MAC products. And until next time, stay well, feel beautiful, and be you.